Always an honor to talk to Abby Johnson, former director of a Planned Parenthood. She's now a pro-life advocate, one of the reasons why I've boldly entered into this space as well. She's been a huge inspiration to me. She's the CEO of the Then There Were None ministry, and you can watch the movie about her life, Unplanned. If you haven't seen that yet, watch it. If you've seen it already, watch it again. Abby, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for talking about this, because we got to war game this. We got to figure this out. The pro-life movement does. So first of all, let me ask you: do you think abortion is a loser, or I should say, do you think pro-life is a loser politically?
So I don't think that being pro-life. I don't think that abortion is a losing political game. I do think, though, that the way that we talk about abortion is important. And I'm not sure that the way that the pro-life movement has been talking about abortion has been the most effective way to talk about this issue. And I think that that's something that's going to really have to be rectified, because the pro-life movement has essentially allowed the pro-abortion movement to narrate this entire conversation, right? So the abortion industry, they're not actually selling abortion, not anymore. They have co-opted the narrative, and now they are selling freedom. And so it's really not about abortion anymore. So now they are telling people that they are the ones that they're selling freedom to women, that the pro-life movement is about enslaving women, that we are trying to take freedom away from women. And essentially, motherhood is a life sentence, right, for women. And so singlehood, that is what is beautiful. That is freedom. That is what you want. And we haven't done a very good job at really countering that point that the abortion industry is putting forward. And we have to do a better job, or else we are going to continue to lose.
Okay, it's perfectly analyzed. So what's the next step? What would you recommend pro-lifers do differently? And maybe there's even some nuance of how you speak about pro-life to an individual person, to a woman in a crisis pregnancy, to someone who had. There's all these different conversations to be had, but big picture, big political sense. How would you recommend pro-lifers speak about this issue?
Well, I absolutely think that we have to speak about abortion, number one, from an educational standpoint. We have an entire generation of people, I would say a couple generations of people, who really don't even know what abortion is. And one of the reasons for that is because the secular media has done a really great job of keeping the preborn person hidden, and has done a really great job of keeping the truth about abortion hidden. And so I think that the pro-life movement needs to do a really great job of explaining the person in the womb without any sort of over-exaggerated rhetoric, right? And we need to do a good job of explaining what abortion is without that over-exaggerated rhetoric. Abortion is bad enough on its own. Okay, so we don't have to, exaggerate and make it worse than it is. It's already bad enough on its own. But I think there's a lot of people that don't really know what abortion is in the first place. I'll give you a good example of this. I'm sure you remember just a few months ago when that woman from Texas, Kate Cox, she wanted to have an abortion in the state of Texas with her child who had trisomy. And she was fighting for the right to kill her child in the state of Texas. Well, she couldn't do it in the state. And she petitioned a judge in the state of Texas. This was an activist judge who said, yes, okay, you can kill your baby here in the state of Texas. Immediately, the Texas Supreme Court, weighed in and said, nope, can't do it. Absolutely not. It's against the law. Sorry. And she didn't do this because she was really sad and suffering or whatever. She did it, and she basically used her disabled child, as a political pawn. That should disgust everyone, okay? But it didn't. And here was the problem. I did a ton of media surrounding that case. And even the pro-life media that I did, everybody was talking about Kate Cox. Everybody was talking about this poor woman who, oh, she's suffering this, oh my gosh, she can't get the abortion that, she wants, and blah, blah, blah. Nobody talked about what was going to happen to the child in the womb. This was now a 21-week-old child in the womb that was going to be murdered. Nobody was talking about how much that baby was going to suffer. Everyone was talking, even pro-life media was talking about the suffering that this woman was going to deal with because she now couldn't have an abortion. She was going to have to travel out of state. Nobody was talking about that preborn child in the womb, that this child's arms and legs were going to be brutally ripped off of its body, that this child was going to be awake and feeling its body be torn apart. Nobody was talking about that. We aren't doing a good job of educating people about the abortion procedure itself. And we aren't doing a good job also of telling people about all of the resources that we have in the pro-life movement. We have 4 times more resource centers than they have abortion centers. So why aren't we talking about that? You are never going to go to an abortion center and find diapers and wipes and car seats for women who choose life, but you will find that in every pregnancy center. We've got to do a better job at marketing who we are and what we do.
Yeah, on that Kate Cox and some others, I saw one the other day at CNN about the state, again, forcing a woman to have a baby who was already, they say, going to die quickly. So the left has been pushing this reluctant abortion, this painfully reluctant. Oh, I wish it weren't the case. I so don't want to do this, but have to. You don't buy that?
No, no, I don't. I think that there was a point in time, in decades ago, okay, in the 60s and before, and in the 70s probably, and maybe in the early 80s, where women, they probably didn't really know what was going on. We didn't even call it abortion back then. The doctors called it menstrual extraction. A lot of women, they weren't even fully aware that they were pregnant sometimes. And doctors would say, I've heard this story from women, doctors would say, oh, we're going to do a procedure to bring your period back. And these women didn't even really understand that they were pregnant. They didn't understand that they were having an abortion. I think this was before the age of ultrasound, where ultrasound was available. I was born in 1980. My mom did not have an ultrasound with me. People didn't really know what was going on inside the womb, right? But now we know. And I think the pro-life movement has done everyone really a disservice by treating every woman who has an abortion as a victim. Look, I've had 2 abortions in my life. I was not a victim either time. Was I receiving some pressure from my boyfriend to have an abortion? Yeah. But ultimately, it was my choice to put my body on that table and kill my children. So we're kind of talking out of both sides of our mouth. On one hand, we're saying women are strong and empowered, and we can do anything, and we can overcome any challenge that comes in front of us. And on the other hand, we're also saying women are victims and so sad, and we're so, oh my gosh, we can't figure out which way is up or down, and that's why women are having abortions. Well, which one is it? Because it can be both. And I choose to believe, because I am a woman and I am a strong woman, I'm an educated woman, I choose to believe that women are strong and they are tough enough to overcome these barriers and these challenges. They are strong enough to be whatever kind of mom that they choose to be.
Why do, we only got about 3 minutes. We got 2 more questions. Why, for the most part, and everyone's different, but why do women get abortions today?
Convenience. Almost 100% convenience. We have women call us that say, I need an abortion because I don't want to get stretch marks. I need an abortion because I have plans for spring break and I want to be able to drink and live my best life. I don't want to be a single mom. My boyfriend just ran out on me. It's convenience almost every single time. These situations of, oh, I have a medical condition. Oh, I was raped. It's about 1%. 99% is just strictly convenience.
What is your message to women who have had an abortion, who maybe feel like because of that, they have to be pro-choice now? I don't want to be a hypocrite. I got it. I want to give it to, I want that opportunity to be available to other people. Even if I do regret it, even if I do have shame about it, I feel like I can't be pro-life now. What's your message to those women and men who are a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, pro-abortion people will say, oh, you're a hypocrite. You utilize the choice twice. Now you're trying to take it away from women. Well, my answer to that is when you know better, you do better. And that is the answer to every mistake we've ever made. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes. Once you realize they're mistakes, you turn away from them. And, we serve an amazing God. We serve an amazing creator. He does not want us to live in shame and condemnation. He does not shame and condemn us once we turn away from our sin. And he doesn't want us to then in turn condemn ourselves. And so if you don't know the Lord, if you don't know his forgiveness, if you don't know who he is, I would say, look him up. He has amazing grace for us, and he's a very good God.
Abby Johnson, former Planned Parenthood Director, CEO, Then There Were None, and the movie's Unplanned. Where would you like to forward people to learn more about you and everything you're doing?
Yeah, so my website is abbyj.com. They can find out about my ministries, my podcast, the film, my books, everything there.
Okay. What was it? Then There Were None.
So my website is just abbyj.com, and the ministry website is abortionworker.com.